My husband tried to kidnap our children and flee the country. I never thought I'd see the day my husband would try to take our children from me. It started as a normal Thursday morning. I was making breakfast while the kids, 6 and 8, sat at the table, half asleep and bickering over who got the last slice of toast. My husband, Eric, came in unusually early from work. I noticed immediately that he wasn't himself. He was quieter than usual, fidgeting with his coffee mug, avoiding eye contact. I asked him if he was feeling okay. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Something felt off. The kids were oblivious, laughing over a cartoon on the tablet. I went to check the laundry, and when I came back, Eric was gone. At first, I thought he had stepped out for a quick errand. Then I noticed the car keys were missing from the counter where I always left them. That's when the pit in my stomach started. I picked up my phone and tried calling him. No answer. I tried texting. No reply. My chest tightened and a creeping sense of dread took over. I rushed to the front window and looked out. The driveway was empty. Panic started to rise and I ran to the kids' rooms. Both beds were empty. My heart stopped. I grabbed my phone again and dialed Eric's number, screaming into the voicemail, asking where the kids were. Then I remembered. He had been talking about taking them on a family trip for weeks. Vague plans about visiting relatives abroad, insisting it was for their school holidays. I never agreed to leave the country. We had discussed maybe a weekend getaway, never an international trip. I called the police immediately. While on the line, I tried to piece together what had happened. There was no note, no warning, nothing. Just the sudden realization that he had taken both our children. The operator stayed calm, telling me to give all the details I could. Eric's description, the kids, the car. I gave everything. Within minutes, the house felt too quiet, too empty. I found their favorite stuffed animals still on the living room floor. Their backpacks were gone, along with the little drawings they had left on the fridge. Every normal thing I could cling to felt like it had been ripped away. I kept thinking I might wake up and this would all be a nightmare. Hours later, the police called back. Eric had been stopped at the airport, trying to board a flight with the kids. They were still in his possession, but he had no passports or visas for them. He had managed to get tickets in his own name and was trying to leave without any of the proper documentation. Apparently, a vigilant customs officer had flagged something unusual in the booking. I arrived at the airport under police escort. Seeing my children sitting on the bench, clutching their small backpacks and looking confused and scared, made my knees buckle. They ran to me as soon as they saw me, throwing their arms around my waist. Their tears soaked my shirt, and I held them so tightly, feeling every ounce of fear I had been carrying release in that single moment. Eric was being held by security and the police. He looked at me with anger and confusion, like he thought I would feel guilty. I didn't. I was numb, but I knew I had just been given my children back and that nothing else mattered in that moment. The kids were unharmed, though terrified. I tried to soothe them, whispering over and over that they were safe, that we were together now, that this was over. Later in the police station, I found out he had planned this for months. He had taken secret trips, researched flights, saved money under different accounts, and tried to convince the children to go with him. He had lied, told them it was a special surprise, that it would be fun. They hadn't understood. They only knew their dad was angry, and that we had to go somewhere. He said, I left the station with my children that evening. We walked back into our quiet home, the sun setting behind the trees, and I finally allowed myself to breathe. I sat on the couch with the kids, wrapped them both in blankets, and just held them. They didn't say much, they just clung to me, and I held them tighter. The house felt safe again, and for the first time in hours, I let myself imagine that things could eventually feel normal again. Eric is in custody now, and our lives are far from the same. I look at my children every day and remember how close we came to losing them. I can't erase the fear, but I can protect them now. And for now, that's enough.